Equity, justice, and fairness. That was the request of Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi when he met with Bukola Saraki, Aminu Tambuwal, Bala Muhammad, and Mr. Ayatudin. Well, this has been one of the debates as a contest for the PDP ticket thickens. Tonight, we shall be talking about the issues that will define the race, especially as the different political parties, the 18 of them, are now looking forward to pick the flag bearer that will go into the arena come next year, February, and those who want to be Nigeria's #1 citizen. Tonight, I'm being joined by a foremost Nigerian journalist and publisher who's been with the Concord newspaper several years ago and later on started his own business, Ovation International. He once contested for the president of Nigeria in 2011, and now he's one of the aspirants in contest for the ticket of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. Chief Dele Momodu. He joins us from our Lagos studio. Thank you so much, Mr. Momodu, for joining us tonight on the program. It's good to see you.
Thank you, Sheung. It's always good to be on your program.
Thank you. Let's begin the conversation from your reservations. Today, I understand that you submitted your form. And you spoke about what the cost of the form will do to the ambition of young people who have the capacity and who are yearning to lead this country. Give us an insight into what you meant in that statement.
Well, I mean, an average Nigerian today will tell you that they want fresh people in government. They want younger people in government. They want self-accomplished people in government. They want well-educated people in government. They want people who have not looted the treasury in government. So, if you ask a presidential aspirant who is young, who is self-accomplished, who is doing his own business, and so on and so forth, to part with 40 million naira. Today, in today's Nigeria, you are going to disqualify, you are going to eliminate a lot of such people. And that is why I spoke up about it today. A lot of people are always afraid of speaking up in our country. We accept whatever they tell us to do without questioning. So, but I just wanted to raise it so that next time around, my party, PDP, will be more careful not to eliminate the best materials in Nigeria. Today, if you look at the political parties, it has suddenly become a contest of money bags and not a contest of ideas. Nigeria has degenerated, has deteriorated to the days when we had ideologues, when we had the Awolowos, the Azikiwes, intellectuals, who will come to the table to discuss robust ideas. Today, contestants, aspirants are boasting openly about how much they have ready to fight the battle. Today, maybe 2 or 3 of us in the party, my humble self, former Anambra State Governor, Mr. Peter Obi, and maybe Mazi Ohambua, are amongst the modest, the humble aspirants. And we're speaking up that this is dangerous for our democracy when it's all about money. I've met some of our friends who said, no, some people are already confirmed. Nobody can beat them because if somebody pays $5,000 per delegate, some people are going to pay $10,000 per delegate. To me, this is very dangerous. This is not the democracy that some of us worked for. A lot of people died for this democracy. A lot of people lost everything they ever worked for. Some of us were in detention. Some of us had to live in exile for years, and we lost everything we left back home in Nigeria. Today, the politicians have hijacked everything. Nobody is talking about insecurity. Nobody is talking about our economy. Nobody is talking about mass unemployment. Nobody is talking about ASU. Nobody is talking about poor medicals. Nobody is talking about our infrastructure decay. It is scary. And this is why we must all speak up.
I think it's a good place to come in now,
that our elders in Nigeria and the owners of Nigeria would intervene and make sure that we get very serious.
How you think that God wants you to come into the race for a certain reason. And you spoke about you being born and the year Nigeria got independence. You were just born a few months before October. And you spoke about your journey and how you've gone this far for a certain purpose. But you've spoken tonight again about the issue of the money bags. Do you feel threatened, and do you perhaps feel that the stage is not even for the contestants?
Definitely the stage is not even, but I'm not threatened. I've gone this route before. In 2011, I contested on the platform of National Conscience Party. And I remember the night before our primaries, some people came to me and said, oh, my co-contestants were going from room to room. I had sent 2 copies of Ovation magazine to the delegates to look at so that they can see what I do for a living. And that is what Mr. Peter Obi was talking about this morning on a different program. That he looked at where Dele Momodu was 25, 26 years ago, and he went back to look at his own books to see where he was. You must be able to ask questions about where people are getting money from. It's not about being threatened. I won my election because most of the delegates, by the time they looked at my resume, they looked at my accomplishments, they looked at my global status, they said, no, we're not going to allow our party to go down because of money. It is the same appeal I'm making to the leaders, the elders of PDP. Don't let our party go down because of money. There is so much Nigeria needs from us today. We must show Nigerians that this is a born-again political party. This is a political party that has learned a lot of lessons from its past. So it's not about being threatened. I am lucky, I am fortunate to have friends, especially young people. I've had people donated as small, as little as 500 naira, some 2,000, some 3,000. So I'm working very hard. While we see a lot of our leaders going around, flying private jets and talking to people about consensus, I am talking to the people about the issues affecting Nigeria. I would love to see our leaders go around, go to Kaduna, go to Borno, go to all the places where we have crisis today and show empathy, sympathize with the people, provide solutions to our problems. Life does not begin and end with power. There are many people who are in power 20, 30, 40 years ago. A lot of them are still around. General Yakubu Gowon is still around. General Olusegun Obasanjo is still around. General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida is still around. General Absalami Abubakar is around. They are all around. But new people are now in power. What people are going to remember is what did you do with power, not how long you stayed in power. Some of those seeking to be president today have been permanently in power.
It then brings me to the point, because you're speaking as though the race is now looking as if the ticket is for the highest bidder. Is that what you're trying to say? And if that is the case,
clearly,
for you to be able to contest amidst these heavyweights, it does mean one thing, that you also need your own war chest. Do you have a war chest? How do you hope to contest in the ring with all of these heavyweights?
No, I will not label such people as heavyweights. Having access to government money does not make you a heavyweight. A heavyweight is a man of accomplishment anywhere in the world. You will never see any country in the world where they will regard somebody whose visible means of income is not known, and they will call him heavyweight. In fact, as a matter of fact, I will implore our journalists to start distinguishing between the so-called heavyweights in terms of government money and heavyweights in terms of their sharp intellect. That is what Nigeria should do. We have too many problems today. If an heavyweight says, okay, I can buy all the super delegates, after buying them, it will need to now find money to buy 50 to 60 million Nigeria voters. Does that make any sense? So where do we go from that? That's why we're laughing stock in the Committee of Nations. People look at us as very unserious human beings. How can you describe someone who has not managed any business successfully or managed people successfully, and then you say it's a heavyweight? Heavyweight based on what? So that is one of the reasons some of us supported Buhari when he was coming in 2015, because we thought that the level of corruption will go down. I mean, if you see the number of people who are still in power, the number of them who have come out now to say they want to contest, it tells you that the money is coming from somewhere. And we must ask where the money is coming from. I have never seen a country where you see so many governors, so many ministers, former vice president, current vice president, all vying for one position. The money must be somewhere, and we must find out where the money is coming from.
So you once said that you will rely on God to defeat the billionaires who are in the race. They're talking about consensus. Is the God factor in the concept of consensus, and how does that come to you? Do you feel disadvantaged when that kind of conversation comes up?
God has always made a way for me where there is none. In 1991, I wanted to start Ovation magazine. I went to different potential investors. I found one who was willing and ready. Unfortunately, by the time I told him I wanted to bring some colleagues of mine on board and I made promises to them, the big man pulled out. 1991, pulled out. And I couldn't find anybody to fund the project. And I gave up. I went into a different business. I started doing public relations. Do you know Ovation came back alive at the time I least expected? 6 years in London. And today, Ovation is 26 years old. Miraculously, we didn't have the money. We needed £150,000. We had only about 20,000. The banks, National Westminster Bank, told us they were not going to give us a loan because we had no record of doing business in the UK. But we had faith in God. Today, we're the #1 lifestyle magazine in Africa. I told you the experience of contesting in 2011 when my co-contestants were going from room to room doing whatever they were doing, and I gave only 2 copies of Ovation. I'm relying on God and my personal accomplishment. There is no country in the world that will ignore a Dele Momodu, a man who has operated in over 60 countries on 5 continents. There is none. Nigeria is the only place. Look, last week someone called me and said, oh, have you seen Governor Yayebelo? I said, yes. He said, oh, it seems the man has a big watch. I said, why not? He's a governor. Yayebelo was born the year I entered school start. 1975 was the year I entered Form 5. But once you are a governor in Nigeria, it's automatic. Once you are a minister, it's automatic. Once you are a Senate or Senate president, it's automatic. Once you are a former president or a former vice president, it's automatic. I am telling you that the God factor will come to play again. Nigerians will see the miracles of God, that it is not always about money. Number one, I can tell you, the billionaires are going to cancel themselves out. They are there in the north, they are here in the south, and they are fighting dirty. At the end of the day, go and check the history of Nigeria. A billionaire has never governed Nigeria with all the money. So with all the bravado, I am assuring you that God will intervene in the affairs of Nigeria, because we cannot continue like this.
Okay. Enough of what the race looks like. I mean, on this program, we've taken it upon ourselves to, so anyone who wants to vie for that office, we need to ask them, what do they really have to offer Nigerians? And that is the issue, isn't it? That we need people of character, people of quality, of capacity, beyond the rhetorics and some other issues relating to politicking. Let's talk about the real issues here, Chief Dele Momodu. Nigerians were facing different kind of challenges. And I've made it, as a point of duty to ask this one question to individuals like you. I want to know, in your own mind, what do you think is Nigeria's biggest problem? If you identified, what solution do you have for it?
For me, today, under the government of President Buhari, it's lack of unity. You need a unifier. When you talk about insecurity, when you talk about the manner Nigerians are so divided along ethnic and religious lines, is because you don't have a leader who seems to care much about those things. So that is why a Dele Momodu will be an instant unifier. Number one, I'm a child of diversity. My father is from Edo State, South-South. My mother from Osun State, Southwest. My grandparents were Muslims. My parents were Christians. My name is Momodu. My surname is Momodu, while my Christian name is Joseph. That's diversity at play and at work. So we need someone who is completely detribalized of all the aspirants without having private jets or helicopters. I've been to all the regions of Nigeria, reaching out to people. I've reached out to Sheikh Gumi in Kaduna. Some people told me not to go. I went. I've reached out to people in Maiduguri. I went in the market. They told me it's the most dangerous market in Nigeria. I've been to Enugu. I've been in Kwara. I've been everywhere. I've been in Kano talking to people. I've reached out to the Nnamdi Kano people to find out how do we stop this suffering going on in the Southeast. We have some of the brightest people in the world, but due to lack of unity, lack of peace, nobody can function properly. So I'm doing that already. You don't have to wait to be president. That's why I'm worried that people are more interested in hijacking power for themselves than talking about the issues of Nigeria. This is what I have to offer. I'm humble enough. I'm not too big to go and talk to the high, to the low. I took my time, risked everything to go to Cotonou, to go and see Sunday Igboho. What is going on? Let's all come together. They are tired of Nigeria because they believe, oh, this is a Fulani. I said, no. The day you have a leader who respects every tribe and every religion in Nigeria, you will see that all the agitations will evaporate. Even Nnamdi Kanu said it last year, February, in a televised video. He said, if we have leaders with the mindset of a Dele Momodu, there will be no need for Biafra agitation. But unfortunately, the politicians are not addressing any of these issues. So that is one issue that must be addressed speedily, urgently, responsibly, and you can be sure we can now begin to talk about all the other problems, whether in the area of education, in the area of infrastructure, in the area of power, and so on and so forth.
A lot of the people that you say you're reaching out to, the young people of Nigeria, a lot of them have their eyes outside of this country. If they have any opportunity to leave this country, many of them don't want to return. There is a major crisis or a major problem of the national agenda and loyalty of Nigerians to their nation. And the issue of poverty is also adding to them wanting to stay back. A lot of our young doctors have found their way in Saudi Arabia, in Canada, and in England, practicing there. So the question is, if Dele Momodu becomes Nigeria's president, how would you make Nigeria attractive for Nigerians or young Nigerians to stay, and in fact, make it such attractive that those who have fled the country would return?
It's quite easy. Leadership is about trust. If you trust a leader, you will go to the end of the world for that leader. A leader must live by example. One of the things I find disturbing is that Nigerian leaders live as if every day is Christmas. And that's why I was complaining about people buying up tickets, buying up the voters. A leader who does that, he comes in and lives like an emperor. So Nigerians have virtually given up on everything. I was speaking to a pastor a few days ago. I saw him preaching about people getting their PVCs. I had to call him. I said, sir, who are they going to vote for with this PVC? So, with a Dele Momodu, you can guarantee that, one, I'm not going to need government money to enjoy the life I did not enjoy outside power. The way our people live, it's unfortunate. So a lot of people just say, oh, you can't change, let me go. So trust. And I tell you, I will be a hands-on leader. I said it before, there is no way I will be president of Nigeria with all the bright guys that I see in the southeast of Nigeria. They are comparable to the Japanese, the Chinese, the Indians, the Koreans. That will be a technological hub for Africa. You have natural talents wasting away, but we're wasting all our resources on servicing politicians. I'm one person who will be a technocrat in government and who will be able to identify the individual talents that are available in every part of Nigeria. And when I went to Maiduguri, I met a lady, Dr. Chilube, who has a PhD in chemistry. When she was telling me about the things she can do, but they are there. The politicians don't even know of their existence. So if eventually she gets frustrated, she will migrate abroad. I went to Kano. I met someone who is so good at doing confectionaries. And you cannot even walk into a bank and get a loan. You will never see any country in the world, all the places that these people are migrating to. What sustains their citizens is simple credit. So the SMEs in Nigeria don't have anywhere to go. So if they find any opportunity to go and wash, you see somebody with PhD is going to wash the floor abroad, it doesn't make sense. So we will identify, and we have done that in each area of the country, and make sure, look at the example of entertainment in Nigeria. Why can't we have an entertainment city? An average Nigerian today, if you're a musician, you want to shoot ordinary music video, you have to travel to South Africa or go to Ghana. We have everything right here. The problem is profligacy. We are wasting too much money on politicians. And until you have a leader who can stand up to them and say, no way, the money for the people must be spent on the people. And once they see that, they will be okay. So for me,
my final question to you, Chief Dele Momodu, tonight is on the stage for the party primary, the PDP party primary, whether or not that stage allows for evenness and balance and equity. The governor of Enugu State is asking for justice, equity, and fairness. And whether that exists or not is a big question. Your party appears to have gotten itself in a hot debate of zoning. The question is what the governors of the South were asking for, that it should be zoned to the South, whether or not that will be respected. And in that equation, where do you fall, and how much of equity, how much of fairness can we talk about in the scheme of things as far as your party primary is concerned? What is your biggest fear tonight on that issue of zoning, Mr. Momodu?
I am always very practical. I would love for power to shift to the South, especially after President Buhari leaves. It will be unfortunate that Buhari will spend 8 years and another northerner takes over. And there are too many problems already in the North. So let's shift power to the South so that we can look at things more dispassionately. Maybe part of the problem today is that it cannot be solved by people who were part of the problem. That is one. Number two is that for those northerners who are insisting that power must come to the North, I want to give them a very polite warning. We do not have today in PDP any aspirant half as popular as Momodu Buhari was in 2003, in 2011, and so on. Yet, on those two occasions, he was roundly and soundly defeated by Olusegun Obasanjo and subsequently by Dr. Goodluck Jonathan. So if they are insisting that, oh, the only way the PDP can win election is by sending it to the north again, my answer is a resounding no. We do not have any aspirant today with that capacity to win a general election like Buhari would have done, especially if you succeed in alienating the entire South. That is the truth. Buhari could not win until Southerners took over for him and supported him morally, financially, and otherwise. There is no way. So that is mine. Then, I agree with you. PDP, we have boxed ourselves into a corner by allowing everybody to buy forms. I think it will create more acrimony if after I purchased my form, I returned my form earlier today, you now tell me that I'm no longer qualified to contest election. That might lead to litigation. And I've warned about that. The day I bought my form, I warned about it. Politicians are going around, dancing around. There is nothing they can do. Atiku the other day said he must run. And so how do you stop such a man? He has enough clout. Yeah. If you can bully a Dele Momodu, I don't think you can bully some people. And I don't think a man like Izon Wike in Rivers could be easily bullied. So now, the way the two sides are boxing themselves may not augur well ultimately for our party. For me, I would just suggest let bygone be bygone. Let's all go and contest, and whosoever wins, so be it. But if you give it to the north, there'll be problem in the south. If you leave it in the south, you can see the determination of those who are going around in the north. I think, yeah.
Chief Dele Momodu, publisher of Ovation International and presidential aspirant on the platform of the People's Democratic Party. Thank you so much tonight for your time, and I wish you the very best ahead of the race.
Thank you, Sheung. Thank you very much.